Hi there, working homeschool moms. This is Charlotte from Sheri Jones 24/7 and My Little Homeschool. And this is season number 3 and episode number 101 of the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. And we're starting the season nice and strong. I speak to Sheri Jones from Youth in Business, and we talk all about kids and entrepreneurship, ways that you could support the dreams of your kids, encourage them, ways that they can start a business without spending too much money, how they can turn their hobbies into a profitable business, which is so cool. And she also shares some amazing stories of what kids have achieved and can achieve. It's a really encouraging episode, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it very much. But before we get to the episode, I'd be ever so grateful if you could rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, or you could forward the podcast to a working homeschool mom who might need some support and encouragement. Thank you so much and enjoy the episode. Hi there, and welcome to the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. This is Charlotte Jones. I'm your host, and I am a podcaster, a speaker, a writer, and a homeschooling coach, specifically for working homeschool moms. I've been homeschooling my neurodivergent twin boys since 2017, and I've been a working homeschool mom since 2017. So I know it can feel really overwhelming to keep all the balls in the air all the time. So each week I chat about tips and strategies for being a happy and thriving working homeschool mom. I cover things like time management, homeschooling, mindset, and lots of other juicy topics like that. I also speak to awesome and inspiring women who manage to juggle homeschooling and work successfully and find out what their secrets are. And I also welcome experts who can help you on your working homeschool mom journey. I have lots of ways to support you, so be sure to check them out in the show notes. You can download my time audit as your first step to managing your time better. I have a Facebook group for working homeschool moms that you can join as well. And be sure to sign up to my newsletter for weekly updates. And if you need additional support, you can join the WHM Collective, which is a supportive community of working homeschool moms where we delve deeper into topics that are going to help you thrive as a working homeschool mom. Or if you need one-to-one support, be sure to book in a session with me. I'm so excited for you to be here, and I know you'll get so much value out of this episode. So let's get started. Working homeschool mom, I know how overwhelming it can be to choose a math curriculum for your homeschool. That's why I'd like to tell you about the online math curriculum we've been using for years, ctcmath.com. As far as math curriculums go, it has loads of great features that solve lots of the math issues we've had, and I know a lot of homeschooling families have. Here are just a few of the many features that we really like. Questions are adaptive, which means the interactive questions change in difficulty depending on the student's ability. The program uses a smart algorithm that tracks the student's progress and delivers questions based on their exact needs. The student doesn't even know this is happening, helping them to build confidence and master math concepts. Concepts are delivered through video tutorials and summaries which are clear, complete, and easy to follow. It's like having your very own teacher. This ensures your children understand something before they're asked to practice it. And then for us parents, CTC Math has extensive reports which are so valuable in monitoring your child's progress and spotting any gaps. And they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee if this curriculum is not for you and your family. CTC will provide a full refund, no questions asked. But I think the most important thing is a whole lot less stress when it's math time for both parents and kids. You get to outsource math with confidence, and your kids get a fantastic tailor-made program that makes learning and mastering math enjoyable and positive. Visit CTC Math today to start your free trial. CTC Math is also offering you, listener, an amazing special. When you go to ctcmath.com/MLH, you can get a half price discount plus a bonus 6 months for free. That's ctcmath.com/MLH. Today I have the pleasure of chatting to Sheri Jones, who is a passionate serial entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist dedicated to empowering young minds through entrepreneurship. Together with her husband, Ben, they founded Youth in Business, an innovative education program aimed at equipping children with financial education and independence. They have become a trusted resource for parents nurturing young entrepreneurs. Their mentored children have launched incredible businesses, gaining widespread recognition in local, national, and international media, with one even authoring a book on their journey, and several of their young prodigies are even poised to purchase homes before the age of 18. That's amazing. Welcome to the podcast, Sheri. I'm super excited to chat to you and to delve into such an interesting topic today.
Hi, Charlotte. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be with you and your audience, and super excited to share and really open kids and even parents' minds to what's possible in the world of kids in business today.
Lovely. So it's such a great topic. And we're going to talk specifically about how kids can turn their hobbies into a profitable business. And I think this is a really great topic for homeschoolers. Often homeschoolers have a lot of time where they can really do a lot of hobbies and also kind of dive deep into things that they're interested in. So I think this is really going to speak to my audience very, very well. The WHM Collective is a monthly membership on Patreon that was created with you in mind, working homeschool mom. If you're just starting out on your journey, or if you're finding it difficult to find your groove, then the WHM Collective is definitely the membership for you. Each month, we delve into topics that are going to help you thrive as a working homeschool mom, such as homeschooling, schedules, time management, and lots of other juicy topics. I know how busy life is for you working homeschool mom, and I know how complicated life is too. So that's why this membership is super simple. Each month there's one live workshop, one ebook, and one session of office hours where you can have your questions answered in real time. In addition, you'll get one free coaching session per membership and an added bonus of having access to all past content, which you can work through in your own time. So if you're feeling like you need some additional support as a working homeschool mom, then I really hope that you will consider joining the WHM Collective, because I know that it will help you so much to find clarity and to move forward in your working homeschool mom life. So let's talk about some examples of hobbies that kids could potentially turn into a profitable business. What has worked in your experience?
Sure. So what I think works really well is obviously, something that kids are passionate about. So I'll share some examples of my own kids and kids that we've worked with. So one of our kids, Caitlin, she was a young teen girl, loved being online, loved social media like a lot of young girls out there. And so what Caitlin decided to do was turn her passion for social media into a business where she was creating social media content for small business owners. I know as myself, when we were starting out in business, you're trying to do so many things and wear so many hats, and social media is often one of those things that you're not posting regularly and really creating that engagement with your audience. So what Caitlin was able to do was really provide a solution for those busy business owners. And so she would go online on whatever platforms they chose and would go and put out really engaging content with her audience and schedule out her posts. And in fact, she was able to build such a clientele up that she actually had to outsource and hire 2 staff of her own. So she was able to have some staff working for her. And then at the end of each month for her business owners, she would put a little report together of the engagement and, the increase in the audience, and send that off and really provide an awesome service for really busy business owners. So that's an example, sort of an older example, and obviously an online example. We have kids running everything from online business to more traditional based business. A lot of the kids that join the Youth in Business program love physical products. I think because they can touch it, they get excited about it, they can show it to others. So one of the kids that joined the program, Kai, he was 13. Now, Kai had a bit of a sad story. He had really struggled with his self-esteem, and he had a couple of learning difficulties. He had dyslexia, he had ADHD, and so he sort of struggled in the traditional classroom. And so, the traditional school wasn't really building him up in his self-esteem. So his mum, Jo, came to us and she said, hey, Kai and I have created these really cool sensory fidgets. They were really discreet, they were noiseless, didn't attract attention. So it's not like a traditional fidget spinner. These really cool, funky metal looking fidgets, but they were really helping Kai to focus in the classroom. Now, because Kai was able to create such a cool product for himself, he literally created it in his garage with some bike chain and some metal that they put together. So they really wanted to get that out to the world because I knew there would be other kids with learning difficulties struggling in the classroom too. Now, the great thing about that business is we helped Kai scale it. He started selling at markets and events, and now he predominantly sells online. And his mum and dad have actually quit their job to work full time in the business, and they're actually on track to do nearly 7 figures this year in their business, literally selling sensory fidget toys to help kids with learning difficulties. So I think that's a really cool example because, their passion is out there to help kids, but they're also, a very successful and profitable business as well. And it's literally some products that originally started creating in the garage at home. So now they source products from overseas as well, and they have a big product range. Some of the products they still do make themselves, obviously finding that balance in their time. But so that's really great example as well in terms of a product-based business.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that because my kids are also neurodiverse. So stories like that always give me hope, that there is a possibility for them to do something really worthwhile in the future. Because I think the idea that neurodiversity, you always have to, or like, I mean, I suppose kids in general, you got to go to college, you got to do all this kind of stuff, but it's not always for everyone. So the idea of giving them or, empowering them to start a business, I think is fantastic. And I'm sure a lot of the moms out there who have neurodivergent kids will feel the same.
Yes, for sure. I completely agree. And I think it's such a huge segment of the kids now. And I think that's what Kai's now 16. So he's only got a couple more years left before he graduates. But he's planning on stepping out from school and running his business full time. So now that both parents work in the family business, so technically mum and dad work for him, which is pretty cool. So it's really great because it's just opened this future for Kai that they didn't really know where he was heading before that. It's given him that purpose, I guess, which is really, really great. Now, obviously, other than those sorts of examples of hobbies, we've had kids do everything from, the traditional lawn mowing service, a lot of food-based products. So we've had a lot of kids do well in like the protein ball space, creating some really yummy protein balls, getting customers on a subscription so that they'll, drop them off every fortnight and it's automatically payment processed online. Yeah, my son, the way we started in before we even created Youth in Business, my son was 7 and we had friends over for dinner and he created these little colorful potions. He was trying to sell them. I don't know where he came up with this idea from. And so we sort of just laughed it off. But after our friends left, we sat him down and we said, hey, Trent, this is great. If you want to sell something, we can do that. How can we provide value? And I think that's what it comes down to. Whatever your kids are interested in, whether, it's craft, whether it's, surfing, whether it's, gaming, whatever it is, how can you provide value in terms of a product-based or a service-based business? And so with Trent, he loved the outdoors, very outdoorsy young kid. And so he decided, and he'd noticed, because I had a little herb garden at the time, that you chopped the herbs off and they grew back again. And he was like, hey, Mum, this is an awesome business. My products are going to regenerate. And so he started a herb-based business very locally, did a whole bunch of a flyer drop, and he was able to build up a customer database. And people would SMS in their orders, say, hey, Trent, I'm cooking a lamb roast for dinner. I'd love some rosemary. He'd package them up after school and I'd go with him to deliver his herbs. Now, the cool thing was at the age of 7 and 8, Trent was doing around $30 an hour, which is pretty good for a young person who's not even technically old enough to work yet. So I think the great thing about young people and business and entrepreneurship is you can really, do it as simply or as complicated as you like. Some people prefer more the online business side of things. Other people prefer more face-to-face and knowing their customers and building it locally. So it's really what works for you and your family.
I love that because that I think even for us as business owners ourselves is finding that need though, right? Or finding that pain point. And I think it's such a valuable step or such an important part of the business process, isn't it? It's really figuring out what that need is. And if it's like connected to you in some way, I think it also, like you said, obviously if kids are passionate about something, I think it makes it probably, I can imagine, much more rewarding as well and much easier to put in the hard work.
Definitely. And that's why I really recommend picking something they already naturally enjoy doing. You know, if they love art, find something that they can turn that passion into. Because we find that obviously long term with a business and as it grows and scales, if you enjoy it, you almost aren't working a day in your life. And that's what we love about kids. Our passion is to really get them to escape the rat race before they've actually ever even entered it into it, you know, in terms of Robert Kiyosaki and the rat race. So yeah, it's pretty powerful. And I think kids nowadays are so tech savvy. They have so many skills. So that's where Trent started when he was 7 and 8. Now he is 15 and he runs an online business. And his biggest month that he had, I think recently, was about him and his two brothers run it together. So they're 9, 11, and 15. And the biggest month they've done here in Australia is $30,000 in a month. So that was pretty
Amazing.
exciting for them. And so
Mhm.
they're online in the toy space, selling toys online and on eBay and Shopify. They're selling things that they connect with, that they want to play with, and then other kids want to as well. So, their businesses will evolve and change. But I think the great thing is, as parents, is watching what they learn as a result. Like the kids get excited about the cash flow side of the business, but as parents, like Trent was a very shy child, and so having a business gave him the opportunity to go out and to talk to people, and he learned how to sell, and it really boosted his self-esteem and his confidence. And now he was invited to speak a few weeks ago to a few hundred people
Oh,
the
wow.
in an audience, and I was like, oh, we'll see. And he did so amazing and just had so much confidence. And I purely think most of that has come from running his own business, because you've got to put yourself out there, put your business out there, really engage with clients, talk to people, and yeah. And so it's so great, especially nowadays. I think a lot of kids spend so much time online. To really have developed those interpersonal skills have been really rewarding for us to see our kids develop.
I can imagine. So, what are some practical steps that kids can actually take to transition from a hobby to a profitable business venture?
Sure, great question. So, on our website, youthinbusiness.com, we actually have some free training there if anyone wants to go check it out. And we actually have a 5-step system. So, the first one is to find a winning idea. Now, if you're thinking, I don't know what my kids are exactly passionate about, that's completely fine. We have a list of 101 winning kids' business ideas that are tested by our kids and tested by the clients that we work with all over the world. So, your kids can check that out, literally go through. It takes no more than a few minutes to highlight which ideas stand out to them. Then step 2 of our system is sell it before you build it. Now this is my favorite, because what kids do is they literally get a couple of, they can take a couple of images of of the product they're planning on selling, or literally go online, find some pictures of something that they want to sell, and without having to invest any capital at all, or much capital at all, they can go out and sell it before they build it. So that means they go out and sell it, is say, hey, put some posts online, I'm launching this business, check out my products. And what happens is you start to get a whole bunch of market research in. People are saying, hey, I love that, but do you do it in this color, or do you have an organic range if it's a food product? And people start telling you what they're looking for, but your kids are also making sales at the same time. And so we want kids to make sales literally in their first week of business. And so the great thing about this sell it before you build it strategy is that they're able to get the sales in first. And normally they'll just say, hey, I'm launching this business. We're having a launch special now. The products will be out in, I don't know, depending on your timing, 3 to 4 weeks. But most people out there want to support a young person in business. So they're happy to, sign up online, or, front the sale and then be able to wait a little bit of time. Obviously, it depends on if you're creating the product yourself, or if you're shipping the product in from overseas per se. But the great thing is the kids are able to get the sales in first, and then they go and deliver on their sales. So this works really well with a service-based business. Your kids can create a little flyer, whether it's lawn mowing or, whatever. Dog walking is a really great niche, or dog sitting. We've had one of our entrepreneurs do really well with pet sitting, so looking after people's pets when they go on holiday. They absolutely love dogs, and so they love looking after them, and they get paid to do something that they already enjoy. And so that works really well. So the kids go out and promote their business, promote their idea, get all this market research in, get some sales in, and then go and deliver from there. And really, what that means is the business is growing with what your audience is telling you that they're looking for. So it works really nicely. So I'll give you an example. One of our clients, they're Lucas and Clay. They were 16 and 14, and they were super passionate about the environment and sustainability space. And so what they did was they went online and they found a whole range of products that they wanted to sell. Now, obviously, being teenagers, they didn't have a lot of funds to go spend hundreds or thousands of dollars ordering the stock in and then hoping to go and sell it. And that's not our sell it before you build it strategy at all. So what they did was they went online, they got the exact pictures of what they were wanting to order. They had permission from the supplier to use their professional photos. They posted them online. They actually created a 2-week free shop on Shopify and literally put all their pictures up and said, hey, we're launching this. They promoted it on social media. And in their first 30 days of their business, before they'd even had to order any stock, they had done over $1,500 in
Oh,
sales.
wow.
Now, in terms of proving a concept, that's pretty cool, right? So that's what we love. It
Mm.
really gives kids proof of concept, and if they don't make sales as much as they're expecting, that's okay. Then we try the next idea on the list. They haven't had to invest any capital to do that. And so, yeah, that's how Lucas and Clay started their sustainable business, and it just massively grew from there. And they obviously got the sales in, and then with that money, they ordered the stock. And the great thing about doing a method like that is you can just ship it direct to your customer. So it's not like you have to pay to ship it to you and then pay for the shipping to your client. It just goes straight to your customer, and you don't even have to touch the stock if you don't want to. So sell it before you build it is step 2, and that's really where you go from transitioning from a hobby to getting it out there and promoting it and getting the sales in first, whether it's a product or a service-based business.
I love that. I think that's amazing, and because I think maybe that is a big, or could be a stumbling block, is the idea of maybe parents having to invest in something that doesn't necessarily work. So I mean, that's such a fantastic way to get around that.
For sure. So, yeah, that's what we're all about here at Youth in Business, being resourceful, not using any resources to begin with. So, we want the kids to, think, hey, how can I be creative here? How can I get out there? And there's so many options nowadays for kids to promote what they're wanting to do. For example, one of our kids, Josh, he was a super passionate surfer, and he joined the program and started actually here in Australia, really good surf. He started a surf photography business. So he had access to, I think, a drone at school that they let him borrow, and he was taking these really cool images of people surfing in the water. Now, while he loved that, he realized that he really wanted to add a product to his business. So it wasn't always trading time for money. And so what Josh decided to do was to create a non-slip sunscreen designed especially for surfers. Here in Australia, we have really extreme UV ratings. You can get burnt very, very quickly out in the sun here in summer. And so a lot of surfers don't wear sunscreen because it makes your hands really slippery, like it's really greasy. And when you pop up on the board, they slip. So a lot of surfers here don't actually wear sunscreen. So Josh was super passionate about helping people protect their skin and being mindful of skin cancer. And so he had this idea for non-slip sunscreen. Now, he found a manufacturer that was they created a formulation together, but he needed $10,000 for his first run. Now, Josh was just 16 at this point. Now, we wouldn't want any teenager to get any sort of a loan, let alone for that sort of an amount. So what we helped Josh do was actually crowdfund his idea. Now, Josh literally put together a campaign on Kickstarter. He literally drew his picture of what the tube of sunscreen was going to look like. He named it Seagull Milk because he wanted a really unique name. So he literally hand drew this picture of a seagull and all of the writing that would be on there. And he literally went, and with that hand drawing and just the text around what his passion was and what he was going to do, people would order the product, and I think they'd have to wait 4 to 5 months, like traditional crowdfunding to support someone getting started. And he raised over $11,000 in that crowdfunding campaign. So it was enough money for him to get his first run through. And now Josh is in over 100 stores here in Australia, and he's actually hoping to break into the US market because obviously summer is inverse to ours. And so it's been absolutely awesome because now Josh has graduated. He's actually 21 now. So he graduated high school and stepped straight into CEO of his business, has been growing massively from there. So I think being resourceful is really cool, thinking about how you can get the word out there. Nowadays, there's so many possibilities with crowdfunding, with social media. There's so many options to getting your kids' idea out there before you have to invest any capital at all.
Oh, that's another amazing story. So, what are other ways maybe that parents can support their kids on this process to maybe develop their hobby based business ideas? What are other things that they can do as well?
I think the biggest thing that any parent can do that has a child that is showing an interest is to just be supportive. I liken it to, when you're starting a fire and you have this little spark, and in your child, it's almost like this little spark of interest, into business or entrepreneurship. And I think it's really quickly for that, if that spark isn't nurtured, that can go out really quickly. If people are like, oh, that's too hard, or how are you going to do this? And what about taxes? And what about this? And it can be really quickly overwhelmed for a young child to go, oh, wow, or why don't you just wait until you're older? So I think the biggest thing that we can do as parents is support our kids. When Trent was 7 or 8, even I was thinking, wow, this is really young. Is he ready for this? Is this the right thing? But we just tried to support him how we could. And to be honest, with my 3 boys and their business goes in ebbs and flows. They'll get really excited. They'll want to work towards a goal. Like my son will be like, hey, I want this high-end gaming laptop. And I'm like, okay, great. How is your business going to get you there? And so then he'll work backwards. Okay, I need this amount of sales. I know my profit margins of my products. How can I do that? Can I go and promote it on social media? How can I get the traffic to it? And so he's able to really reverse engineer. I have this goal, and how can I get there? And so I think as parents, the biggest thing that we can do is just support our kids. Kids dream big, and that's what we love about them. You remember back to when you were little, the big dreams that we had, whether it was to be an astronaut or a mermaid or, whatever it was. I think the biggest thing that we can do as parents is just to support them, just to be open minded. And at our website, youthandbusiness.com, we actually have some parenting training because we know that the mindset and the influence of a parent is huge. And so really, if you're thinking, how can I nurture that in my child, check out that free training, because I know that, parents are massively influential at how at kids in business, and just being open and supportive, I think, is the biggest thing that we can do.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. Because, like you said, kids are naturally big dreamers, and it's such a perfect time for them to start something like this because they kind of don't have the baggage maybe that we have as adults. We were like, oh, failure, or, oh, this is, am I going to make a fool of myself? So I think kids in business for me, it just makes so much sense because they've got the big dreams and they've got that confidence as well, or they've got that, or they don't have the baggage of worrying about things going wrong. And I guess also they don't have to worry too much about, car payments and putting kids through school, or, whatever, things like that.
For sure. I couldn't agree more, Charlotte. That's right. It's the perfect time in terms of, we have mortgages and, payments, and like you say, paying off bills and so on. And so it's perfect for kids. And I find, it's almost, I liken this starting a business, it's almost like kids learning a second language. Kids, if you were to put parents and kids into a course to learn a second language or to immerse them in another culture, the kids are going to pick it up
Mm.
way quicker than the adults. It's because they have that neural plasticity that as parents, we're a lot more, ingrained in our ways. And so that's why we love it. And we love working with kids because they have such great ideas. And often, we can overlook them. And so, if we can cater to that and think that, they have a different way of thinking. And obviously, as technology changes and everything, the pace of life picks up, I think they're so adaptive and resilient. So, it is a great idea.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this has been really, really fantastic. But before we finish up, maybe is there anything you'd like to share, or maybe where people can connect with you online?
Yeah, definitely. So if you're wanting to check out some more resources for your kids, head along to youthinbusiness.com. There we have our resources and some training. So if you're loving the idea, you really just want to open your kids' minds to what's possible. In our program, we run what's called the $20 challenge in the first month of kids' business. And so really what they're limited to, like we've talked about today, they don't even really need any capital to start with, but they can use up to $20 to get started. And the whole aim of the challenge is to generate as many sales as they can and reinvest their sales over the 30 days. Now, when we first ran this challenge, I think we run it as a bit of a competition to make it fun. The kids love it. I think the winner did around $500 in sales. And then the next time we did $1,000 in sales. And this happened quite frequently. So I said to Ben, hey, let's reward the kids. Let's create a trophy that the kids get. And it's called our 1K Club. So we're talking about kids that have never had any prior business experience, literally getting started with an idea, going out making sales, and most of them do over $1,000 or more in their first 30 days. And so we recognize that. So if you go to our website, you'll see there's a tab for our 1K Club, and you can actually go on there and read about what the kids do. What are their ideas? We're really big on modeling and learning from other people. So see what kids are doing and what may work for you too. And then what we found was kids that were really growing and scaling their business long term, doing over $10,000 a month in their business. Now, a lot of mums and dads would love to do that, right? And so we created our 10K Club Award. And that's really to, we have a big gold trophy that we give out to the kids and to, really commemorate what an achievement that is. And these are kids that are, growing massive businesses. Some of them are taking out awards. We've had an International Be the Change Award winner. One of our kids has written a book, How I Made More Money Than My Principal Before I Left School. We've had a couple of kids buy houses by the time they're 18. So there's really so much that's possible for young people out there. And I think, it's just taking action is the biggest thing for young people today. Just getting out there when they're interested. If you have a couple of kids, you may only have one kid that is interested right now, and that's completely fine. So one of our clients had 3 children, and the youngest was really keen. So she started with him, and when he started having such huge success in business, in fact, he ran a series of markets and he got a little bit sick. So he said to his older sister, hey, can I pay you to run my market for me? And she said, yeah, sure. And then at the end of the series of markets, she got her paycheck, and I think it was for a couple of $100s, and he had made over $20,000. And she was like, hang on a minute, this is my little brother. What is going on? And so the great thing was then she was keen to start her own business. And then eventually the older brother did too. So even if you only have one child that is interested, I still recommend really nurturing that entrepreneurial spirit in them, because the changes and the growth and the success that they have will encourage all the other kids in the family. This is the one time sibling rivalry is actually advantageous to us as a parent.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing such inspiring stories and such valuable insights, Sheri. It's been really, really great to chat to you today.
Lovely. Thank you so much for having me. I've absolutely loved chatting with you. And I just hope the young people that are listening and the mums and dads have really opened their minds to the possibilities that are out there for your kids. And especially in the homeschooling space, a lot of the clients that we work with, have huge success because they have that flexibility of, homeschooling, and really they can cater their business to that. The kids are learning such great skills. So in terms of their English, they can be writing copy for their website. In terms of their maths, they can be working out their profit margins and scaling and growing it long term. And so there's so many ways that businesses relate really well to homeschooling as well.
I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Please let me know what your greatest takeaway was. You can reach out to me on Instagram at charlottejones247 or on my website at mylittlehomeschool.com, or you could even drop me an email at hello@mylittlehomeschool.com. I'd be ever so grateful if you could rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It will help spread the news about being a working homeschool mom, and in that way we can build this wonderful supportive community together. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, take care.